Of the French movies, I like this one not the least. Patty tried to be diplomatic here.
Okay.
Are we on? Is
Well.
everything on?
Is it rolling, Bob?
Yep, everything's on.
Okay. I know you were rather harassed, so
Do we have to do a sound check or no?
No, we already did it.
Okay.
I did.
okay.
Did you just bless
do it
us,
again,
Pope
Patty.
Patty?
No, do it again.
What?
Do the.
No, she just went like this to all of us.
Okay. Okay, so hello. Welcome to episode 74 of What the Flicks podcast. My name is Susan Ayers.
I'm Patty Smith.
Lon Shima?
Jorge Sanchez.
Bob Nick Shields.
Okay. So our movies on episode 74 are, I didn't list them.
But they're right here.
Oh, yes. Le Chèvre. The Chèvre. Yes, that. Thelma.
Le chévere, chévere.
The Chèvre.
Chévere, baby, chévere.
Tammy. The Extraordinary Adventures of Adele Blanc-Sec. And The Pianist.
Hold on. The Tammy Show, not Tammy. That's two different things.
Well, it still says Tammy.
Yeah, but it's the TAMI show as
show.
opposed to the Debbie Reynolds movie.
Oh.
We're not reviewing the Debbie Reynolds Tammy movie.
Okay.
This is,
I stand corrected.
no, you sit corrected.
Okay. So our first movie will be one.
Yes. My choice was Le Chèvre, written and directed by Francis Weber, or Weber. I don't know how you pronounce that one. I was taking French in college, and I remember when this movie came out because this was sort of a follow-up to The Birdcage. The Birdcage at this point was getting a really big cult following, like in '79.
Great movie.
And that played like 2 years in the DC area. Well, the writer was Francis Weber, and so this is his first one where he's directing and writing. And he teamed up, I thought, two of the sort of really good, solid French actors of the time. Pierre Richard, whom he worked with before because Pierre Richard was the tall blonde man with one black shoe. That was my introduction to that character, and that was early 70s. Again, the same type of thing, just a sort of physical comedy of a guy who just is nonplussed, just is very serious, goes through everything, and all these horrible things happen to him. So the movie in itself is not well written per se. The plot is very simple. A businessman's daughter has disappeared. They mention how she just has bad luck. She just gets lost, things break, whatever. A psychologist who works for the firm suggests an alternative approach because they hire a private detective, Gérard Depardieu's character. He's called Campagna. Campagna's there. He's been searching for almost, I think they say, close to 2 years or something like that. A long period of time in which he says, we're just running out of clues. We can't find her because she's disappeared somewhere in Mexico while on vacation. So the psychologist says, I have an interesting proposal. Your daughter just has bad luck. You have somebody working in your accounting department who also has just bad luck. In fact, the psychologist has actually been watching and observing him because this is such an unusual case. So that's where Pierre Richard's character comes in. His name is Perrin. So his boss convinces him to go to Mexico. I want you to lead the investigation, and I want you to take this other guy, who's a private detective, to go and help you. So Perrin, and I guess this is what sort of it's could be considered a spoiler, but for me, the very first scene when you see Monsieur Perrin come in, they do something in a boardroom, and then boom, immediately you see exactly what they're talking about. I laughed hysterically, and I just remember laughing throughout the entire movie. And again, the reason I say it's well not written or not too well written is because it is the situations they get in. But to me, the magic of the movie is the director putting these two actors who I think are just so funny together. They work really well. Pierre Richard, like I said, just absolutely brilliant, I think, with his physical comedy. The odd part was Gérard Depardieu. He was sort of in dark comedies in the 70s and very serious movies, but this character is like you're identifying with his character because you're sort of befuddled by the Perrin character. So you're sort of almost identifying where it becomes very frustrating. So once, I mean, literally from the beginning, we're just getting on the plane to get to Mexico. Things happen. They get to Mexico. Things happen. I don't want to spoil the movie because all the movie, to me, is their relationship and the physical comedy that they go through and just the situations they're put in. Now, again, like the dialogue, I don't think is brilliant or anything like that. And again, I think it has a perfect ending. So, and most importantly, these are the movies that I keep harking about. It's like, you know what? Get in, tell your story, entertain me. And it's 90 minutes. It's not like overly. And to be quite honest, when watching this movie, I actually watched it 3 times. That's how much I really enjoy this movie. And I'm not even saying it's a great movie. I just thought this was highly entertaining and funny.
I don't know, would it be a spoiler to say what Mike had told, but if it's not, because even the descriptions of it, when you go everywhere, it says kind of like about being an unlucky person. Would that be a spoiler?
No.
Okay.
No.
So the movie, the daughter, obviously, she's very unlucky. She disappears in Mexico. And then they come up with a brilliant idea of finding this other person who's just as unlucky to help find him. Maybe he'll stumble in the same unlucky situations and end up there. The movie, I was on the floor the whole time. I was just laughing out loud the whole time. Every scene, the initial scene where you say when they introduce him when they're in the ballroom, there's another scene where he's walking, the lady's walking by, and he kind of looks and then goes into a hole. It's just, and then I don't know if it's too important, but this one that, because the funny parts are the unlucky scenarios for this guy, how bad his luck is. And then there was one where he gets, they go to Mexico looking for the girl's been missing out for 42 days. And there's a scene where he gets.
Oh, it's 42 days.
42 days.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
See,
that
I
2
remember
years seemed like a
something,
long time on it.
Yeah.
There's a scene, I don't know if it's part of it, but where he gets kidnapped by a gorilla. I know they have gorillas in Mexico. and then,
That was actually one of the most bizarre things in the entire movie.
There was 2 really funny jungle things.
He's kidnapped and he's swinging, and the rope breaks, and they fall down, and then
The vine breaks,
and then the vine breaks, and the gorilla is looking at Gérard Depardieu like what's up with this guy? It's just the bad luck thing was just the whole time I was on the floor laughing. I actually enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's me. Okay. I didn't laugh once. I just I wouldn't say I had high hopes for this. I'd seen the American remake with Martin Short and Danny Glover called Pure Luck. I didn't find that funny. I don't find this guy Francis Weber. I don't find
Francis Richard.
No, Francis
Pierre.
Weber is the director.
Oh,
yeah.
I don't find his movies particularly well done. They're obvious. It's not my kind. It's not my sense of humor. Let's just put it that way. I mean, I'm going to be slamming anything French tonight, practically. So, this movie was not for me. I didn't find it at all funny. And I know this was we picked this because there was someone who contacted us about playing more French movies, and I started worrying about, geez, do I just not think anything French is funny? But then I went and looked up some other stuff just to remind myself. But this one was not one of them. Not at all.
okay, right. Okay, so I actually really like this movie. I was laughing my ass off, but it was a great concept. I like the concept that somebody is like kind of unlucky, and that like the scene that he isn't talking about that if you don't mind, because there's 2 scenes at the beginning that I just think set up the whole thing. Is like the two people that are unlucky. One is where they're trying to get this guy. They're thinking that might be a good idea because he's unlucky. He might have the same.
Black as hair. So to speak.
Yeah, that might happen to him.
Exactly.
Like,
Black as hair.
yeah,
Exactly.
that happens to her. And so where they have a table, it's a big round conference table. They take one of the chairs and they kind of break the leg and they put it back. And so when the guy comes in, that would be Pierre Richard. Pierre Richard. They say to him, take a chair. And he kind of walks around. And of course he picks that chair out of all the chairs he could have picked out. That was very funny. And also the one where the girl who is unlucky, she's actually a very pretty girl, and she's like in Acapulco, which is kind of funny.
No, she's in Puerto Vallarta initially.
Oh, she's in Puerto Vallarta because she's on holiday, right? I thought it was interesting too. Puerto Vallarta, 1981, Acapulco, 1981. I thought it was interesting to just see the lay of the land kind of at that time. But, and she's like talking on the balcony, and a guy goes by on one of those head gliders, what do you call that?
Paragliders.
Yeah, paragliding.
Paragliding.
Yeah, paragliding. Anyways, and she goes back and she falls off the balcony, and that kind of sets up like her
character.
Yeah, her character and her trajectory in the movies. So, and also I agree with you. The ending was perfect, right? In fact, when it was ending, I go, gee, it's almost like I hope they go to that place, and they did. Let's see. Oh yeah, I've never watched a lot of Gérard Depardieu movies as a young man, right? So this would be what, like 50 years ago?
40, definitely 43.
40, 50.
Yeah.
When he was
40.
young and pretty.
I didn't recognize
was
him at
never
first.
pretty.
He sure was.
I wasn't sure who. I was like, well, that kind
Because
of
everyone
looks
considered him like a
him.
sex symbol in France.
Yes,
Right,
I know, but I
yeah.
never could figure that out, right?
Yeah.
But I never saw him as a young man, right? So it was kind of like, oh, I get it now. He kind of looked like George said, like a really more buffed out kind of Owen Wilson or one of the Beach Boys, or he's got that kind of surfer kind of look, right? So I was
Built
like
an ape.
Yeah, he has like a Ron Perlman kind of body.
That's it. I wasn't
Not then.
talking
No,
about his body.
not way
His
back.
haircut. Yeah.
well, his face and his haircut, they was just very Beach Boyish,
Not way back when he did a movie I also hate called "Get Out Your Handkerchiefs," where he was just so young and pretty you couldn't believe it's the same guy you see now.
Not my type. Sorry.
Well, then he was. That's the thing. It's weird. Then he was, and then he discovered French food. I don't know what happened, but
You mean the one where
Well,
he's a
it
chef?
happens to us all.
Exactly. I agree.
We were all young and pretty.
We were all young and pretty.
My turn? Oh, sorry.
I just was going to say that I really got this to why the French like Jerry Lewis, and I this could have been Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's that sort of humor, and I was like, oh yeah, I get that now. Why they like it, but you can do it really bad. But they did it really good, and I disagree with you. I thought the skit that was well written. It kind of started off in a place, it ended up in a place, it completed, and in between, it was hysterical. That's what I thought. Patricia.
Well, Debbie Downer here.
go Debbie.
Hey, Debbie. Of the French movies, I like this one not the least. Patty tried to be diplomatic here. I thought the concept was really good. The guy who played the unlucky guy, I'm
Pierre
not even
Richard.
going to try
Richard.
to.
Pierre Richard.
Yeah.
That's easy.
He was good. And to me, anybody can play the straight man. I know they can't, but to me. But after a while, watching, him falling and insulting the girl, it just gets boring to me. Like, there are French comedies I like. But this is not one of them because I got bored with it.
Mhm.
The end.
Yeah, real boring. Boring.
Yeah, no, because it is funny that you said that because I know that that dinner game movie
Then again, yeah.
that you really liked a lot.
Yeah, that was
another
one of my
Francis
favorites,
Weber
yeah.
did that one as well, but he based it on a play, so I think that's considered one of his best films. Period.
And I was telling Susie that I saw a trailer for this Fugitives,
Yes.
and the scene where like Jared produces a bank robber, and he goes to jail and he comes out of jail and he's at a bank, and the other guy is comes and robs the bank, and of course the sock in his face rips, and it's like showing his face, and he takes Jared Depardieu hostage, and all the cops think Jared Depardieu is the one that's the bank robber, and it's same kind of humor. I'm sure you're gonna love it.
No,
Watch it.
that's actually true because that's why I said I knew you of all people.
Yeah.
All the films that the woman sent, and I mentioned them to you,
Uh-huh.
that you would like every single one of his movies.
Well-
They just are. I just think they're just wonderful physical comedies, and I think I don't know why, but I always said that screwball comedies you need that sense of innocence. There really is a sense of innocence, like when I watch these movies, even though these characters are not well. Pierre Richard's character, in my opinion, is sort of innocent because he really truly doesn't know how unlucky he is, whereas Gerard Depardieu's character is not. And
Right.
that's, like I said, that combination.
And the
it's-
timing.
It goes in all their films. I mean, Les Compères is another one.
Oh,
I was almost going
yes.
to do that, but I thought, no, I'm going to do the first one I saw because that's what hooked me onto French comedies, was
Let's
that.
see what the
know?
numbers say.
I think that we were watching it. We're like, wow, that's amazing. Everybody in Mexico speaks French.
No, well, that's the thing that made
Yeah.
me laugh, too.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, that's weird that how many Mexicans actually spoke French?
And the bellboys,
Right.
and they were like, bonjour. Everybody was speaking French. But I know in English movies that happens too, right? Everybody with
Exactly.
friends, but everybody speaks English, right? Okay, so George, you're starting.
Yeah, as a comedy, I give it an 8.
Oh, it was just me. Yeah, I'll give it an 8 also.
I'll do a lawn. I give it a 5.
I give it a 7.
You traitor.
Whoa,
Holy shit.
that
Patty,
is
you
great.
traitor. You traitor.
5?
I'm depending on you for a 0 for this one, and you give it a 5.
No, she's saving that
Well,
for
the one
mine.
coming
Yeah,
up
right.
Oh, that's right. We got the one that's even worse.
Well,
Uh-oh.
We'll be back.
Okay, so that ends our show for this week. We'll be back next week.